What's going on YouTube? I'm DarkJack, and in this video I'm going to give you my review of the new DLC for Skyrim called Dragonborn. And the new DLC takes place on the island of Solstheim, which is about 1/4 the size of Skyrim, and I'm showing you a map of it right now. And the basic plot of Dragonborn is that you're supposed to stop Miraak, who is the old Dragonborn, from returning to Solstheim. And he has cast a spell over the inhabitants of the island, and you have to break his control over the island and then travel to the realm of Hermaeus Mora to stop him. And the main storyline, which I have beaten, is about 5 hours long. It's a little longer than Dawnguard, which is the previous DLC. But this DLC has more side quests than Dawnguard. And the southern half of the island of Solstheim is covered in ash, and the northern half looks like a lot of Skyrim, like the area of Winterhold and Windhelm, and it's covered in snow. And there's also a city on the southern half which is made of mushrooms. And you also get to travel to the realm of Hermaeus Mora, who is one of the Daedric lords, and it's a very green looking place that's covered in books, and it's a pretty cool place to explore with lots of new enemies. And you also get to travel to a new Dwemer ruins, and it's a puzzle dungeon that has lots of puzzles in it. And it's kind of complex. It'll take a while for some people to beat if you've never done anything like that before. And in Dragonborn there are lots of new enemies, lots of new armor. And after you defeat Miraak, who is the Dragonborn, you get to have his armor and his weapons. And you get to have improved shouts, and there are new dragon shouts for you to learn. There's one called Bend Will, that you can take control of dragons and enemies and humans. And you can improve your dragon shouts and your abilities that you already have. And you get to have an option in the game to improve one of 3 dragon shouts, which is the Unrelenting Force, the Fire Breath, and the Ice Breath. But you don't get to ride dragons until the end of the DLC, when you get to learn all 3 steps of the Bend Will shout. So after you've beaten the DLC, you can then ride dragons, which is pretty fun when you think about being able to ride a dragon throughout Skyrim and Solstheim, but it's actually very disappointing because when you ride a dragon, the dragons have a mind of their own. So even though you can ride them and you can control them to a certain degree, you can tell them which enemy to attack, and you can flip through the different enemies that are in the area of the dragon. You cannot actually steer them. The dragons just circle around the area that you have traveled to, and you can fast travel when you're in the dragon. And that's the only real way to travel when you're on a dragon. You can fast travel around Skyrim, but you can't travel from one end of Skyrim to the other on the dragon. The only way to do that is by fast traveling. And then the dragons have a mind of their own, and you can just choose which enemy to attack. And I'll show you a video of that later in this video. And also in Dragonborn there are lots of bugs, and there are long load times. And in the DLC there's momentary freezes when you enter a new area, because the newest area of the map is loading. And my Xbox froze once while playing through it, so I had to restart my Xbox. And there were several other times I thought I would have to restart my Xbox, when in fact the game finally loaded. And so if you're planning on buying Dragonborn, it does cost $20, which is a bit steep for DLC. And I would say that if you already own this game for the PC, you don't need to get it for the Xbox in order to enjoy this, because eventually it's going to come out for the PC. And if you own Skyrim for the PS3, I would not get it for the Xbox. I would get it for the PC, because the PC has mods, and it's going to come out for PC anyway. And so if you have the Xbox version of Skyrim, I would only get it if you're a big fan of Skyrim, because it's only a little longer than Dawnguard, and if you were disappointed with Dawnguard, you're probably going to be disappointed with this DLC because of the bugs, because riding dragons is not interesting or as cool as it sounds, because you cannot actually steer them. You can only attack enemies with the dragons, and if you just want to kill enemies, it's faster just to kill them with your sword rather than with a dragon. And so if you love Dawnguard, you're probably going to love this DLC, because this DLC is longer than Dawnguard. There's a new area to explore that's about 1/4 the size of Skyrim, with lots more side missions than Dawnguard. And it is a good looking DLC. It feels like Skyrim. It looks like Skyrim graphically. In terms of how it plays, the gameplay itself is fun, but it doesn't last that long. It's a 5 to 6 hour main storyline, and then probably 5 hours of side missions. Though I've not beaten all the side missions, there could be a lot more than that, and I've not yet explored all of the areas of Soulsteam. And Bethesda, and they're the company that makes Skyrim, they're planning on making lots more DLCs like this that are $20 each, and they'll probably make DLCs until the next Elder Scrolls game comes out. And so if you're planning on buying this game, I would say only buy it if you really enjoyed the previous DLC, Dawnguard. And if you did not enjoy Dawnguard, you probably won't enjoy this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video review, and I'll leave you with more footage of me flying around in a dragon and trying to control it and getting frustrated by not being able to fly the dragon around all of Skyrim. And I'll see you guys later.
I will look for a spot to land. I have served you for long enough. Ti do amik oblan.